I don't know if anybody's been to a live podcast before. Have any of you? We want the crowd to be here because we want to hear you, because you will be picked up on the mics, and we want all of our thousands and thousands of listeners to know that there's a wonderful audience here. So feel free to cheer and clap if you like. I'm Jen Sullivan.
I'm Jessica Matlin.
So yeah, we're the hosts of Fat Mascara, and we are joined by
Mamina Turegano
and Veronica Webb.
That's right.
So exciting. Thank you
so
so much for
excited.
being here.
Okay, so you heard about product. We're not talking about product right now. We're talking about that moment that happens when you look in the mirror and you're like, what's going on here? Jess and I were at a cocktail party. This was just last week, and a woman came up to us.
It's only a week ago now. Wow.
She said to us, she was like, what's going on? I looked in the mirror, and all of a sudden,
She's like, everything's changed.
everything changed
But
overnight.
it kind of happened overnight for her, but it obviously wasn't overnight.
It wasn't. Veronica, did you have that experience yet?
Yes. I mean, as a woman, I think sometimes we have that experience every 28 to 30 days because our bodies are meant to grow and change and evolve and do different things hormonally and reproductively. And, you know, they do it every day pretty much for the rest of our lives. But puberty was a big one. And then menopause was another big one, where suddenly, you know, you wake up and, you know, you're in menopause. Your skin is not as elastic as it once was. You start.
She was
to get-
going like this. The woman was like touching her face. By the way, the woman
Yeah.
looked amazing, but she was just like, everything's changed.
because you have less of the hormones that make your skin tight. And, you know, you've been doing everything right and you can't imagine. You're like, oh my God, I feel like maybe God is punishing me.
You didn't think that.
I'm a model. Yes. That's something that I would think. You know, and then you realize that it's just an adjustment that you need to make. And, you know, you're still just as beautiful. You're still yourself, but you have to, you know, you just have to add more discipline to your routine.
But like, was it for you? You looked in the mirror and you just like, I feel my skin definitely is changing. But for me, like as a beauty editor, it's funny. I've been in beauty for 20 years. When I was younger, I remember seeing products like, not going to name the brand names, don't worry, but like I would see products and brands that were like for, you know, mature skin, or like they were totally for, I would like my mom, or there were like sublines, franchises for older skin. And I would, you know, it's so funny because like I was 21, 22 years old, I'd be writing about them and I would think like, I'll get to them, or they're for like this reader. And it would just feel like it was over there, or when I'm, you know, 40 plus, and it just felt like it was over there. And now I'm there, and it almost feels like,
Welcome.
you know, it's not a bad place to be, but it felt like, it was almost like when you're at the beach, stay with me, and you're like in the ocean, and you're there, you're bobbing along, and all of a sudden you're like 3 beaches down from where you're. Does that make sense to anyone? Like it just kind of slowly
Aging is an undertow.
Yeah, it was like an undertow, and now I'm there, and I just thought, oh, my readers who were 40, they were just like, and now I get to go to this aisle. It just happened so slowly. And I feel like that's how that woman felt. Like, it was just like, guys, what do I use? Now my face has changed.
Mamina, when you speak to patients about this, like what are some of the words they use? Like does emotion get involved when they're talking about their faces and this moment?
for sure. I would say probably the most common emotion is like panic, because people are just like, and they're probably using curse words. They're like, what just happened? It's usually, I would say, around mid 40s, but it can happen anywhere from 30s to 50s. And it's like this overnight phenomenon. Like they're just like wake up and they're like, what is happening to my face?
It's an overnight.
It's like, even though it's not an overnight thing, but yes, as we get closer to menopause, there is a drastic drop in estrogen. So it kind of makes sense with this overnight feeling, but yes, it's something that's been going on.
Why panic? Panic's like a big word.
Yeah, because, I think most people think they're invincible. And, we kind of are living in denial about like the aging process. I think many people are. And then when you finally see it, it becomes reality.
Yeah.
So that's why people, they're panicked because they're not prepared for it.
I feel like you're in your career.
Yes.
Like there's like a time limit sometimes. Like did people talk about this as you were coming up as a model? Like, all right, you got 2 more years.
Well, especially because I
that's
started in the 90s, right? And if you weren't skinny and a teenager, there really wasn't a role for you in the fashion industry. I mean, since I would say like 2010, there's been a sea change with a bigger acceptance of age and size and, you know, things like that. But the standard really still, you know, as much as we're open to seeing more, the standard still is young, thin, and that equates to beautiful.
Did you talk to other models about like, oh, we got to do this, we're going to do this? Or was it just assumed by the time that I need to do anything to my face or start using skincare, I'm not going to be working as a model?
Well, no, I mean, you start to really take care of your skin right away, because your skin is your stock in trade. And it's the one thing that you have that, you know, is unique to you, that can't be, you know, swapped out or changed.
Yeah.
Right. Because you can always get like different hair or different boobs or whatever. But you know, your skin is like the one thing that it's
can't get
you forever.
No skin transplants.
So,
It comes easy to you taking care of skin.
well, yeah, because it's like, it's second nature. You have to. And then you're at the epicenter of everything that's happening. So you get every product, you hear about every cosmetic procedure, and you're open to it because, you know.
So you personally, what was your approach? I'll do it.
Well, you know, my mom raised us on natural beauty, and because she grew up on a farm and she was a nurse, so she was also like, you know, science and beauty went hand in hand for her.
Okay.
And actually, when I was a kid, she used Shiseido. That was one of the things that, you know, she would use. But very sparingly, because it was like very special and incredible. And so she always taught us, one, make it simple. Two, try not to put anything on you that you can't pronounce. Don't put it on your skin or eat it if you can't pronounce it. And then, you know, she was like, beauty and discipline go hand in hand. You know, like if you want to create something beautiful, you have to be disciplined about it. So you have to be disciplined about skincare. You have to be disciplined about what you eat. But yeah, that panic day does come, because our invisible nutrient network like stops working the way it once did, and it's coming from the inside, and you don't know how you can control it.
So you had this relationship with beauty, and your mom, you know, your mom was about natural beauty, and, you know, she taught you some things. How do you have two daughters?
Yeah.
And they're in their late teens or early 20s, right?
Yep.
How did your you know, girls have really had such an interesting exposure to beauty. How have you modeled beauty to them with regard to, you know, aging and everything? Because now this conversation is like so topical, so top of mind.
Well, I think, you know, women especially, we're hypercritical of ourselves, and we're conditioned to look in the mirror and see our flaws. And so when I hear them saying, I'm fat, I'm ugly, my skin is bad, I look horrible, I'm like, well, when you look at me, do you think I'm fat, I'm ugly, my skin is horrible, I'm not pretty? And then they said, of course, Mom, no. And I'm like, well, you know, you're the best of me.
You're insulting me when you say that.
Yeah.
Well, and then I have to tell myself that too, that when I look in the mirror, I'm looking at my mother, I'm looking at my ancestors, I'm looking at my history, you know, and you have to, you know, and you have to embrace that, because it's a real strength. And when you can't find it in yourself, you know, either you have to try to see it in your children or you have to see it in your mother. But, you know, the really important thing is, you can't become someone else. You really can't. I mean, it's hard to believe that now, because we're sort of living in uncanny valley where, you know, everyone has the same Botox in teeth.
Well, they have filters. They can. Your girls
I don't know. I mean,
someone else.
Probably a lot of people in the audience right now have read this story, but there was a story in the Times a couple weeks ago. It was like, Gen Z says that, and the headline was very like, you know, shock value. Gen Z says they're aging like milk. And I'm like saying it in a very sloppy way. It was much like tighter, but that was in the headline. I was like, when I was, you know, younger, I was not, I mean, I think you can kind of get that from one thing I said before. Like when I was 20, I was thinking 40, that's so far away. Like, you know, I don't need like, now I thought retinol was something I would start using at 40. Now at 20, people are saying, you know, almost like the sooner the better, you know? So I don't know how, you know, how do you kind of think about younger girls and aging now? Like when you think about your daughters, is there any kind of special message that you give them when it comes to,
well,
you know, how you looked at aging when you were younger?
Well, I also let them know that aging is a privilege. Not everyone gets to age. And also, it's unnatural, the amount that we see ourselves now.
It's
and
so different. That's another huge, like, time shift. I can't compare 20 years ago to now.
Right? Like, don't you find that, Dr. Mamina, in your practice, that people will come in and they'll show you a million pictures of themselves from social media and the internet, and plus, you're on, like, we see ourselves
on Zoom,
can't go to
Zoom
the,
face,
yeah, and you
people
can't go
call
to the
it.
ATM without seeing yourself on camera. So there's all these different versions and visions of yourself, and it can become grotesque in your mind really easily. It's like overexposure.
That's a good word, because it's not like real. It's not how people perceive you.
Are your daughters receptive to this message? How's it going over with them?
Like any young person, it comes and it goes. And, I just try to tell them all the time, well, whatever it is that you're doing, ask yourself, is it making you feel mentally stronger, physically stronger, and emotionally stronger? And if it's not hitting those 3 points, maybe you shouldn't be doing it.
To reassess my whole life.
I was going to say, that's good advice for any age.
Yeah, it is. We're talking about these topics that I think normally, if you said menopause on a stage at a corporate event 20 years ago, that would never happen.
20, like 2 months ago.
Yeah. Aging, menopause that have been taboo. And they still are in a lot of circles.
Yeah.
Do you find, Dr. Mina, when your patients come in, that they're nervous to speak about these things? Is there still that taboo, or is it just me and Jess who are very willing to talk about them?
I think more and more people are talking about it, which is great. But yes, there's still like a taboo aspect to it. I think partly some people are in denial about it. Like, I'll ask a patient, like, how often are you having your periods? They'll be like, oh yeah, once every 6 months. And it's like they haven't accepted that things are changing. And also, things aren't truly defined with menopause because it's different for everyone. For some people, the process can last a few years. For some people, it can be a few months, and symptoms are different too. They have a wide range. So it's hard to really, pinpoint and give it a great definition. But so I think it's hard for people to kind of talk about it a lot. But I think, just given how much interest there is in skincare and anti-aging, there's a lot more talk.
Jess and I had I think it was a doctor on the podcast, or was someone who went to their doctor to talk about menopause and asked like what the symptoms were, and Jess listening and just finally said, oh, so menopause is a vibe. It's just a vibe. Because there was no like definition. Today's the day you're going to start using Vital Perfection because your skin is going to dry out, or today's the day.
It's just like this. It's like, there's no real.
It's very loose.
Yeah.
And I feel like that might be part of the
yeah.
taboo because you're like, I don't know, do I need the face cream? Like,
exactly.
It's unsure. Do you find that too, that they're not sure, or they're like ready to go in?
No, there's so much variability. And people come in, they're not sure if they need a skincare regimen. They're like, something's happening. I'm not sure. Like, if I need to do something.
Well, let's talk about what is happening. Like if we talk 40s and 50s, like
is it 40s and 50s?
Yeah.
Like, is it 40s and 50s? Like,
yeah, 40s and 50s.
Okay.
Typically.
I want to be really specific.
Give us the elastin. Tell us where we are.
We start losing collagen by 1% actually starting in our 20s, but it really starts to show in our 40s, 50s. And when
in your 40s?
When in your 40s, it can vary. It could be early 40s, late 40s. It could be in 30s, in some people. So it depends on people's genetic factors or lifestyle factors. And also, when you hit menopause, estrogen drops pretty dramatically, at least by 30%. And, estrogen does a lot of wonderful things. It increases our oil production, so it keeps things moisturized. It increases hydration in the skin, and keeps the hyaluronic acid going between our collagen fibers. It boosts collagen production. It keeps the skin thick. So when you have decreased estrogen, there's drier skin is thinner, so you have that crepey skin, less collagen, more sagging, wrinkles.
Is this BS? I've heard this test where you pinch your skin, and if it stays, I was just telling Jess, actually, when I wear socks, you can see.
I thought about that when I took off my socks.
She
yesterday.
had no idea what I was talking about. But if I take off my socks,
the
lines from the socks are in my leg for 3 hours.
Yeah, I think that's more like swelling.
I think you should just get looser.
Like
Your
edema,
socks are too small, Jen.
This has turned into my medical.
I just think that's a sock problem.
There's something, but there's something called.
You shrunk your socks, and you're making this a bigger deal.
But even if you press against a sheet, you get a sheet mark
There's
in your face.
skin turgor, measurement of your hydration. Yeah.
How's your turgor, Veronica?
You know, I feel like my face went from
touching
like
your hand.
a trampoline to a mattress to a pillow over the years. And, you know, I think for Turger, like what the biggest thing is I flood my skin with moisture all the time.
You're dry? You find yourself.
Yeah. And then once you go into, and then once you go through the hormonal changes of childbirth and then subsequently menopause, you get really dry. So, you know, for me, some days I put moisturizer on 3 times a day because my skin's that dry, you know. And like one of the things that I found using Vital Perfection was there's that nice safflower oil in it. And it's not oily because it's infused in water. So you get the hydration, but you also get the kind of surface tension on your skin because water brings surface tension to the skin, you know, like the...
Jess is intrigued.
Okay, I love the surface tension. And I know that sounds like a very like, you know, it feels very like, I love the like a commercial. I love the surface tension.
I know you do.
It's so good. I really got a commercial like around it.
So what do you guys mean when you say surface
It's a
tension?
little,
like a little grip.
Like just
So that your
it's a
skin-
little,
more taut.
yes. And there was only one other, shall not be named, doesn't even exist anymore, product that did that. I've not felt that again since this product. It's a little,
So you guys are jumping.
it's so good.
Before we talk about the cream and skincare, I have to ask, like,
what else?
is that all you do? Like,
Yeah, what else are you doing? Because you look good.
We're presented with all of these other options.
You look
we're
very
presented
good.
with needles, with
Yeah.
surgeries. Do you and the girls, the other models, get together and it's like, who's got the good doctor?
Of course.
Where do you guys
Fair.
meet up? And can I come?
Of course you can come. I will pick you up. And I will take you. Yeah, of course we talk about all the cosmetic procedures because one, it's available to us. Two, you know, this is what we, you know, our faces are our stock and trade, and this is how we put a roof over our head and food on the table. And let's face it, it's New York, and you're a model, and the first thing that someone says to you is, "Oh, you still look so good."
Yeah. That is a lot of pressure.
It is.
Because if you just decided to just be like, you know what, I'm done. That's a lot.
You know, I think I would have to spend a year in a monastery in order.
Yeah, like you
to be able
couldn't
to
do
handle
that. You couldn't do that.
But I think that, you know, sweat is 80% of it, but I think science gets you across the finish line. So between
Wait, are we counting like procedures in the sweat side? Or the
no,
science side?
No, sweat is you get up, you do your workout.
Yeah, working out.
You eat your food,
okay.
And then, you know, I'm no stranger to Botox. I'm no stranger to filler. But the thing is I don't want to look different than I do. I don't want to look 20 years younger than I do. I just want to look like I've been restored. Like I've slept well, I've eaten well. I don't want to, you know, like, because I have friends and I see them and, you know, they're like really addicted to cosmetics.
They're like
stuff.
20/80.
Something's not right.
20. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're kind of like, you're not really sure where to look. And then sometimes people do it and it looks incredible and they really look like they're 20 or 30 and you think, oh my God, should I be doing that? Oh my God, I could make so much more money if I would just get a facelift. But then
Have you had that thought?
of course I've had that thought.
I don't know where they'd lift it. You look in place.
Well, thank you. But, you know, I'm saying that to say, like, everyone's different, right?
Yeah.
And everyone has a different tolerance for risk. I like cosmetics procedures, one, because they're reversible, right? The antidote is really easy. Two, like filler and Botox, if you don't like it, the doctor can take it out in 5 minutes and it's over. You're not stuck with it. And you don't have the danger of anesthesia or anything like that. And skincare is really important because, you know, you can make your skincare evolve and there's always new science. And so as your skin changes and evolves, then, you know, you follow the science and you follow the skincare. And that helps a lot.
Do you like this 80/20 idea of lifestyle versus science?
Yeah, I
I get
do
it?
actually. I haven't heard that, but I do because I think, when people rely so much on, you know, procedures and, you know, the other skincare, things like that, they're not gonna really make too much headway, just because so much of what we do in our everyday lives can make a really big difference.
I love when beautiful people say, like, it's lifestyle. You can do it like this. It's holistic. And I find myself the whole time thinking, I want the practical advice. Like, tell me what to buy. Tell me what to put on my face. We were all lucky enough to try the Vital Perfection. So I want to get back to this. Vital Perfection Advanced Cream. Sorry. The surface tension idea.
Yeah.
Jess, since you were really into that.
Yeah, sorry, I jumped to it because
okay.
I got
I'm here to
excited when
keep
she
you on
said
track.
surface tension. Yeah. So it's the surface tension.
Like, what are you talking about?
So it is, if you haven't tried it, back over there, it's a very buttery, like velvety, beautiful cream. It feels extremely luxurious. I like luxury. I like a luxury cream, and it is very beautiful, but it does feel like it is working hard. It gives you a little, just kind of, it creates a little like, right?
Remember, we're an audio podcast.
Sorry. I'm just like moving my
She's shrink wrapping her face in real time.
But shrink wrap sounds so awful. It sounds
Jen
so
is
aggressive.
miming a snatchback. So she
It gives you a little
Yeah.
snatch. It gives you a little snatch.
It's
But a
like-
very comfortable, like a cradle. It cradles your face.
It's
Veronica,
like,
what was your experience?
That is not an official claim.
well, look, the biggest there's the two biggest things are weather and gravity. Okay, that's what gets you, right? So
You're good. I like that. That's a good soundbite. Weather and gravity.
yeah, it's weather and gravity. Like cold weather screws up your skin, hot weather screws up your skin, the sun screws up your skin. But what are you going to do? It's a woman against the elements. You got to go out there and live your life. And then gravity, which where you really see it in your face, and the doctor can speak to this much better than I can, is like down here in the lower quadrant, because this is the heaviest part and one of the more mobile parts of the face. And here, your eyes, they just kind of go down. So, and they sag, and it's really visible. But when you use a cream that has things that give you multiple factors of like vitamin C and more water and really finely milled great oils, it just kind of fills out the dry parts, the missing elasticity.
Is this what
in
you're
the
getting from
skin.
Vital Perfection Advanced Cream? Are we speaking specific? Because I know you've been trying it for like 2 weeks, right?
Yes, and actually my daughter put it on the other night. She's 21. She's like, "Mom, I can't open my eyes," because it tightened her face so much. And she was like, "Oh my God, Mom."
What changes have you noticed? Have you noticed anything? You're moisturized? Or
Here, well, especially here, I keep
she's doing lower quadrant.
Yeah.
Everyone.
so
I'm giving
that
closed
kind of-
captioning here.
so that space between the cheekbone and the jaw.
And you've seen so. And have you also been using the
Yes.
Advanced Vital Perfection Advanced? What's your experience been?
Definitely an amazing luxurious moisturizer. Also, personally, I've been noticing kind of the more fine lines appearing where I express myself
Everybody's
around my
just
mouth.
gesturing around the mouth. Is that
Around the
like
mouth.
what? I
Yes.
feel like for me with my big mouth, it's going to be this is where it's
So-
going to age first.
Yeah, probably.
Because
Well,
I'm very elastic in here.
I would say the two most common areas I get complaints from patients are like the lower face. People are pointing to their jaw. They're like, this is just dropping, like they're sagging, and they're pointing to the lines around their mouth. So there's that. And then also the lines around the eyes, because just the skin around the eyes is very thin. And so it's more prone to wrinkling. But yeah, as we get older, our cells aren't working as well. Collagen is decreasing, but that's what is so beautiful about the Vital Perfection cream. It has the safflower ingredient, and it works together with other ingredients to really help our cells work better. So it like energizes the cells. So that's how it helps with the lift. And then, over time, it increases the collagen production, increases hydration, increases the circulation. So we just need a little help, because things just start to, like an older car, like things just start to break down a little bit. So we just got to like grease it up and,
Have you been
get a little
using
tune up.
morning, night?
Morning and night, yes.
Okay.
I'm actually a little bit probably more dry than the average person, so I definitely benefit
I
using
feel
it
like
twice a day.
We all share that in common.
Mm-hmm.
I have also been using it. For me, I was really glad I didn't get any irritation, because it has a beautiful scent, which I love a fragrance
Yes.
product, but I'm also always nervous about a fragrance
Oh
product.
no, derms are always nervous about fragrance. So I know I was like questioning it a lot, but
And you're giving us the derm approval.
I am, yeah.
Because it's like, I don't want to sit there rubbing in a cream that's not enjoyable. And to Jess's point, looks.
I like. I want to have an experience.
Did you have an
Yeah.
experience?
I did. Yeah.
I'm glad. So we talked about some of the ingredients in it. Can you tell us about the are we getting any claims? Because I don't want to get Jess in legal trouble.
Yeah, so there's some claims. Yes. So another thing people always want
Snatch,
is like,
just not an official
That's just
claim.
not
yeah,
the legal
but
disclaimer.
it definitely is a great way to describe it. But yes, people always want fast results. And what was really interesting, they saw in 2 weeks, more than 90% of people had improvement with sagging, with dark spots, evening out their skin tone. And more than 80% of people experienced less wrinkles. So, and this is just after 2 weeks.
The June spots. That was a new one for me. When
I
she
like
said
that.
June
June
spots.
Clever.
spots
I've
were
never-
around in
Clever.
they were
You had
January
with the
spots.
June spots.
June spots in
Yes.
June spots in,
In January.
January.
June spots in January. Yeah.
We're working on the ad copy in real time here for the product.
Right?
So those are the claims you can expect. This has been super helpful. I do, because we have you here and it is Fat Mascara podcast.
Yeah.
We're going to make you do the Fat Mascara 5. It's kind of a thing we do in every episode of our
Yes.
podcast. We subject our lovely interviewees to our fun game.
It's a lightning round.
We
No, I'm
made
not
a
gonna think about
special
it.
version of the game just for today because potential has no age. Did you guys know that? And so this is the.
I love that.
It's a good
Yeah.
good line.
It's true.
I love that. I think
We
it's
borrowed it for our
brilliant.
game. So we're going to do the Fat Mascara 5. You both have to answer. It could be one word, whatever you feel. Jess, kick it off.
Okay, ready? Sorry, I forgot to turn my page.
We were too busy talking.
Oh my God. Wait, hold on.
I'll kick it off.
Okay, ready?
Okay.
All right. What new skill or talent or hobby did you develop after the age of 40?
Figure skating.
Wait, sorry, follow-up
Wait, what?
questions.
Yeah, we're doing a follow-up question for this one.
Oh, okay.
Like, you just decided to like go figure skating after 40?
Yes.
Why?
Because it's beautiful.
I mean, like, why not? But like, yeah, that's
because I try to learn something new every year. Like
But that's
another skill
very
I picked up after
ambitious.
40 was marathoning, and I did 4 of them. And then I would come home so beat up after all of them that my family begged me to stop. So I'm like, I'll do something gentler. I'll figure skate.
Is it gentler?
No,
Oh, it's good.
Did you ever ice skate before?
a little bit,
Okay.
but like not
Models,
At all.
but
Just
just
like
I
like
feel like just that's so crazy. I would think be like, oh, I'm gonna learn how to make like I don't know,
felt.
it's just something. You know, it's like
I should have had you answer. But Mamina, what new skill have you learned after the age of 40?
Well, I had my son 2 weeks after I turned 40, so I feel like I've gotten really good at pumping.
Okay.
Like really good, like pumping on the plane, like international trips. Yeah.
Amazing.
And breastfeeding is a serious skill. For those of you who haven't done it or don't know, it's
So hard.
yes.
All right.
No
so
one told me.
I have a lot of follow-up questions for both, but we only have a certain amount of time for our
Both
podcast.
amazing women right here. I feel
Okay,
we're good.
what is like
Okay.
an invention or just something that has made life over the age of 40 easier? Veronica?
Laser.
Just
just laser
does
everything?
that explain how we're using the laser? Just lasers?
Laser for June spots in January.
Oh, okay.
Laser for
Face
hair
laser, okay.
removal. Oh my God.
It could be like a laser pointer to like level
What do
out
I
your
need that
frames. I don't
for?
know. Okay.
Pointed at my face.
Dr. Mamina, what about you?
Because my life is still consumed with my baby, I am very thankful for wearable, like portable pumps. Because I'll like
Get back into the pump. I love it. She's on theme.
I will see patients and like
While you're pumping?
They don't know.
Dude, what about the motor sound?
it's very quiet, but it's also like patient dependent. It's like patients that I probably am closer with.
If we were one of your patients.
Oh, for sure.
Pump. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Great.
Okay. Name something in your closet, it could be fashion or an accessory, that you didn't feel comfortable until wearing after the age of 40. Does this apply to you?
I've been forced to wear everything.
Okay, yeah, I was thinking.
I'll
Big
go in.
jewelry.
Oh,
What?
Big
that was gonna be
jewelry.
mine.
Big jewelry, really?
Big jewelry, yeah.
You guys, I wore pearls for the first time today.
Those are good for nice, pretty.
Yeah.
I noticed those earrings. I thought they were very pretty on you.
Thank you.
Very pretty.
Mamina, what's something you started? Are you going to say a breast pump?
Actually, that's a good one.
You can't use that. I got to give you that answer. Okay,
okay.
something that you've only felt comfortable wearing or having in your life, or fashion accessory, whatever you want to call it, after the age of 40.
I don't know if this counts, but I just feel like postpartum, your body changes, and like the postpartum, like pooch. Okay. So
Lower
I used to be
quadrant, lower
so,
quadrant.
yeah. Like I used to be very self-conscious, but like now I'm totally fine with it.
So
Totally
wearing
fine with it.
knots.
So I don't know if that's an accessory, but
A pencil skirt. Yes, the doctor
wearing a
has on
pencil skirt
and, she
and not
looks sexy.
carrying.
And not, I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that
That's
makes
cool.
sense.
That's a cool answer. I don't think you have.
Yeah, because you have a
You look
womanly
good.
body. Like once you have a baby, you really have a
Yeah.
womanly
you
body.
Just
Okay.
don't care. There's like more priorities.
we have two more questions
That's
for
cool.
you.
Yeah.
That was a
Okay.
cool answer. Okay, you go. Your
Yeah, I have
turn.
a good one. So who is a woman? I mean, I want to say over like even an older age, but I'll just say 40 because, we're keeping it on brand here.
Yeah,
That you admire.
There's so many, but I think if we're putting it in the fashion space, Iris Apfel.
Yeah, she's
That's a
so
good
cool.
one.
Goody.
She's
I wanna say
99. No, she's 100.
I
She's
think she was-
100. She's 100. She's still
You're
working.
good.
She's still
It's not
designing.
it's not a competition, but you win because that's perfect. Yes. Now you have to follow that, Mamina. Who do you admire over the?
This feels like a cliche answer, but for those of you who follow me on social media will understand.
I know what you're gonna say.
My mom, my Japanese mother.
Has anyone? You've seen the viral video?
Yeah,
of-
she's the reason why like I went viral is because of her, and she just has amazing skin. She has the most incredible sense of humor, which I don't know if I've
How old is your
displayed that as
mother?
much. She's 75.
Okay.
But she looks like she's in her 50s. But after having a kid, I'm like, how did she have 4 kids within 5 years, and how does she like do it? People seeing my audience just admire her. Like it's just had I just developed a whole new appreciation
That's
for
so
her.
cool.
Yeah.
I love
So
that.
yeah.
That's
Does she like being like the viral?
No, she's like, I'm just regular person. I don't understand. So but she likes it because she thinks it's like helping me, and she likes that she's supporting
that's
me.
a sweet
I know.
relationship.
That's really cool that you
Yeah,
have
the
that with her.
best.
All right, finally, because potential has no age, what's one thing you haven't done yet in your life that you definitely want to do in the future? Like a bucket list item.
I have never been on safari. I have always traveled to like city places or maybe a farm.
Not even for work.
No, I
Yeah.
have never been on a safari, and I really want to see the big 5. And I really want to see like flamingos fly overhead, and I want to see elephants go by. I want to live the Lion King.
That's cool.
All right, we're gonna
yeah.
manifest that for you.
Okay,
And you, Mamina?
that's actually also on my bucket list, but because I was thinking about my mom, we've gone to Japan, growing up, but I just want to take her so she would always take me, but I want to take her first class trip and really just do spa time in Japan, and she said that would be her dream.
That's
So
cool.
I think that would be fun. For
Take
both
your
of
mom
us.
on vacation, like a great
Take her
spa
on vacation.
I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah.
Wow, what a sweet note to end our
That's
little
really nice.
live
Yeah.
podcast on.
Thank you both so much.